Hi, I'm Josh, and I'm a private kombucha home brewer from Wisconsin. And in this video, I'm remaking my first video because I didn't like how the other one was. It was pretty long and everything. And I'm just going to quick guide you through some steps on your first fermentation and how to get started with making kombucha. Um, the the three key ingredients you need will be sugar, which you want to use cane sugar and not granulated sugar or anything else. The next is water. If you have access to well water, great. Otherwise, you can use spring water. And the third ingredient is tea. Oh, and with the water, don't use distilled water. It doesn't have the nutrients in the water to help the process of the SCOBY. And the third ingredient is your tea. With tea, if you use black tea, which most people use, just no flavors, just pure black tea. Or if you put a little green tea in there, which I do, I make a gallon vessel of kombucha, and it makes about 6 jars for me, and I use 6 bags of black tea and 2 bags of green tea. That's the ratio for a gallon. So first of all, you're going to activate your SCOBY. Whether you have a SCOBY from a friend or whether you got one from your health food store. And some people don't recommend this, but you can go to the store and buy a regular original flavor bottle of kombucha, and you can use some of that as your starter SCOBY, or to start your SCOBY. You just use about a half cup in a quart jar, and you make your sweet tea, and you let it sit for 30 days, and it activates, and you should have something that looks like this. Now, this is a couple SCOBYs because I've been doing this for about 5 years. Here's my gallon brewing vessel I was talking about. I actually put a date up top because that's the date I need to bottle and then make more sweet tea, and then let it sit for usually I let it sit for about 10 to 12 days, and then I start my second ferment. You can go anywhere from 7 to 12 days after your initial 30-day ferment. Now, I will tell you, after your 30-day ferment, your kombucha will not be ready to drink. So that's why I recommend starting out in a quart jar, because it will be less waste. Because you will dump out about your first 2 batches of kombucha after your SCOBY develops. And then by about the 3rd batch, you should be good to drink it. So I'm going to show you another thing. This is just a stick-on fish tank thermometer. And that's to monitor the temp of my kombucha. You want it to be between 68 to 85 degrees. And you want it to be in a cool, dry place, and preferably away from animals. I have 3 cats at home, so I don't want them getting into it. And you can use cheesecloth, or you can use a plastic lid for your cover. Just don't use metal. Don't use any metal utensils or any metal covers in contact with your SCOBY or your brewing vessel. This is your vessel, if I didn't mention that before, whether it's a quart jar or gallon jar. And so I have bottled already. I talk about bottling and second fermentation in my second video. So for the first part, you're going to start out, I recommend you starting out with your quart jar. And I will show you the ratios you need. There is a chart here. And I crossed out vinegar because I don't recommend using vinegar while activating your SCOBY for the 30 days or after that. I don't recommend it at all. So here are the ingredients to brew your sweet tea. Then after you brew your sweet tea, you will let it cool between 68 to 85 degrees. And that is before you add it to your culture or to your already developed SCOBY. So just a quick recap here. You are going to start with your 30-day fermentation in your quart jar. And you need a half cup of kombucha from the store if you go that route. Or you need, or if you use a dehydrated SCOBY, you can use that. Now, after that, of course, you make your sweet tea and you put it in with your kombucha culture. And then after 30 days, a SCOBY should start to develop, and then you'll have to dump the first 1 or 2 batches out. Again, that's why I recommend using a quart jar. And then by your 3rd or even 4th batch, you can taste it, and you can pour a little out in a cup and taste it and decide. And yeah, by your 3rd or 4th batch, then you should be ready to start bottling it and doing the second fermentation, which is about 2 to 3 days I do in the jars in a cool, dry area. Then I transfer it to the fridge, and then it's ready to drink. But I go through more of the second fermentation and bottling in my second video. That's all for now. Thanks for listening.